What's good, Joe? All right, quick and easy. This is why we tend to suck at self-improvement. It's because we're progressively overloading way too much. Way too much. It's to the degree where you're going to quit. You're not going to be consistent. Thing about self-improvement is it takes time with every single aspect of the thing you're trying to improve. It takes time and consistency. So I know and I understand that where you might be sitting right now, you're not particularly comfortable with who you are, right? But I assure you, do not make this mistake of doing way more than you need to at the beginning. It's like this, right? Let me give you a very simple analogy. Pretend Brad is a beginner in the gym, right? Now Brad goes to the gym and starts to try benching 400 pounds. That doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Why is Brad benching 400 pounds when he cannot bench 100 pounds? And that's no shtick at Brad. I'm not trying to, demoralize Brad. I'm just saying Brad has not tried to lift 100 pounds yet. He's not progressively overloaded to 100, 10, 120, and then 130, He hasn't slowly worked his way up to 400, right? So why would you try to progressively overload and go way, way overboard on trying to go on self-improvement with gym, with business, with meditation, with cold showers, with all this? That is the biggest reason people fail. And I get it. You have a desperate need to change who you are, right? Maybe you want to disappear and become someone so much better, the desire to become so great that when you return, people think like, damn, he's changed. But that takes time. And no one gives us this timeline of how long things might take to change. Like for meditation, it's 8 weeks at least, something like that. I think that's what the clinical literature indicates, right? That's what I've heard psychiatrists talk about. I myself am no doctor, so don't listen to me. I would go to them, right? But yeah, meditation takes that long. Building a decent physique can take up to, to start to see some progress can take a few months, right? And starting to get shredded, also a few months, things like that. Starting to see progress in maybe a business. My YouTube's the same thing, right? I stagnated at 60 to 80 subs for a whole week or something, right? But I kept going. And I think primarily the reason, and I might be sidetracking this, but again, there is what I talked about when it comes to goals was, of course, you want to set like a time limit for your goal and you want to be exact about it. You don't want to say, oh, I want good grades. You need to be more precise. You want to say, okay, I want to get a 90. That's a metric you can measure, things like that, right? And you want to set a time limit by when? By like the end of the year, something like that. Or maybe you want to be able to bench a certain much. You don't want to say, oh, I want to be able to bench more. You want to say, okay, I want to bench X amount, let's say 120 or 135 pounds by December 17th. Okay, it's the only one I could come up with. It's my birthday. Okay, so like, it's not my birthday today. It's birthday on the 17th. Okay, you get the point. But again, what I'm saying is a lot of you don't understand that there's a timeline to these things and that they take time. And that your goal, and one thing, like I was saying, the reason I went into that whole explanation was your goal, if it's a day-to-day based goal, right? You figured out where you want to go, you want to get this by the end of the year or something like that, whatever the goal is. Now all you got to do is focus on, okay, what do I do daily to get there? You could pretty much forget about that shit. Like you just need to know like what you got to do daily to get there. Like for example, me, I was stagnating on that many subs, but I didn't let that control my mood. I didn't let that do anything for me. I just said, okay, all I got to do is post. All I got to do is post. And the progress will just happen. It just does. Like you cannot beat someone that's just posting every single day for a long period of time. You just won't, right? So same thing there. I think a lot of us get demoralized because we're trying to take on so much more than we need to, and we don't realize we just need to start little and start to do it over a consistent period of time, progressively overload, slowly build up, take our time to do these things, you know? And hustle culture, I mean, they say otherwise. They're like, they tell you, oh, you know, you gotta be doing this, you gotta be doing that, you gotta be doing this. And that's true to some degree, right? But people build up to that. They don't immediately become that. You have to understand this. So let me give you a few examples. Okay, let's say your mind wanders all the time. Okay, let's mindfully meditate maybe. Okay, how long do I want to do that for? Because I've never done this, and mindful meditation is a skill like any other. You practice it and you build that skill up. So I'm gonna sit down. Okay, I'll try to do 2 minutes. That's all I'm asking you to do, 2 minutes. You don't gotta be like these YouTubers that say, oh, I do 10 minutes a day, then you immediately start doing 10 minutes a day. Like, no, you'll quit at one point. The point is not to try showing off with some numbers or try, you know, telling yourself that I'm going through all this suffering and pain and, you know, I've changed all my habits to good habits and I'm really trying to go at it hard. Like, no, that won't do it, bro. You have got to start slow and easy. Maybe you have some bad habits that you have. Like, for example, let's say you don't want to play video games anymore because, you know, it's just not fun for you anymore, things like that. Like, that's fine. Reduce it. If you ever end up playing them again, I think that's perfectly fine right at the beginning. And then, like, add a little bit of a gym session. Take a little bit of time away from video games. Add some of that time that you took away from video games to maybe your gym session now. Just a little bit. That's why I tell people, you know, if you're going to start going to the gym, unless you've been at it for years already at, you know, and whatnot, and you really, really enjoy it, let's say you don't particularly enjoy it, show up for 5 to 10 minutes and break this bullshit excuse of, oh, it takes 5 to 10 minutes to get there, the ROI is not there. No, break that bullshit, okay? Any exercise is something. It's not nothing to get some exercise, okay? If you want to build muscle, do that, right? Or if you don't particularly like lifting or doing weights, like, choose another form that you actually are willing to do because you might actually stay more consistent. The point is, guys, you have to stay consistent. That is it. I'd prefer someone who worked out for 10 minutes over a period of a month rather than someone who worked out for 40 minutes to an hour for a week, because they're learning the skill of consistency. That is what self-improvement's about. You have to stay consistent, because if you do not, then it just all goes down the drain. Because I remember, understand this, I was in college and I had a desperate need to break out of whatever cycle I was in. I was like, this keeps happening over and over and over again, the loop. Or something I define as the loop, which is basically you going through the negative processes of what you're going through, and you keep going through it over and over and over and over again. And you know, you take your classes, you come back, you're tired, you don't talk to anybody, you know, you're wanking, and then you're all of a sudden trying to go to the gym and you're trying to balance all these things, and then at one point you're just like, this, bro, it's not working, because you didn't allow yourself to practice a few habits at a time, slowly building them up and progressively overloading. You decided, I'm going to go to the gym and lift 400 pounds, and you did that with everything you did. You went so hard that you've literally drained yourself and burned out. And again, I understand, because we all have the desperate need to change ourselves, because we really want to maybe you know, let people know that we changed, or attract someone in our life, like a partner, or, you know, just finally be happy and things like that. But I assure you, you have to make the little changes, because those are what count in the long run. Do not try to go overboard with it like you see everyone doing on like the self-improvement community, because that is how you fail. You must progressively overload these slowly. Instead of going from 100 pounds at the gym to 400 thinking you're trying to ego lift, and then you get your ass handed to you, and you kill yourself because all that shit lands on top of your chest, right? It's a metaphor for everything else. Go up to 105. You'll feel better because you've inevitably like gained something out of that. You've made progress, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. All right? Take it slow, bro. No need to rush things. Everything takes its time, and you'll be just fine, all right? So if you're trying to start meditation, 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 1 minute even. If 2 minutes is a struggle, perfectly fine. Some people struggle more than others. Do 1 minute. Do less. See what you can do. You're not going to be good at this at the beginning, and that's fine. Okay? Same thing with the gym. 5-10 minutes. If 5-10 minutes doesn't seem like it's it, okay, one exercise. What else? This could even apply for things that you don't like doing in your day-to-day. Build up. Maybe studying is very, very hard. Okay, let's do like 10-20 minutes at a time or something like that. Build up to it. You're not going to be good at it to begin with. You're just not. We all aren't. You have to practice. It takes time. Start slow. And I promise you, you'll get there, all right? Peace. Take it easy.